Hi everyone, my name's Ashley and this is a day in my life as a full-time artist. I woke up to yet another rainy day in the Smoky Mountains and headed to work with my shop dog Wookie. One of the cool things about my drive to work is that I usually get to drive by the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad getting ready for departure with tourists who come from all over. It's a short drive to work and I usually try to be there around 10 or 10:30 every day. This particular morning I was reevaluating my large painting inventory and making notes of what I wanted to start adding. My shop is only 3 miles from the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and a lot of requests I get for subject matter are for cabins and mountain vacation homes. This would include mountain scenes, bears, elk, trout, and other local wildlife. So I do try to have a decent mix of those in the shop at all times. I settled on a painting of a black bear, so I prepared a dark background using a mix of teal, sienna, sap green, black, and some Prussian blue. I had to let the background dry for a while, so I started another project which involved painting some old shingles. My friends Scott and Todd came by to visit, and I checked out a few customers as well. After that, I checked inventory of my local authored books. I definitely recommend Even As We Breathe by my friend Annette Clapsaddle, and I'm a huge fan of David Joy's books. I also carry these books that are a true story about our small town, and I only carry the first 2 in a set of 3 because I didn't like the third book, so I'm not going to carry it. But my favorite part is the cute little map in the front of the book because our house is on it. Eventually, I got back to painting the shingles. These old shingles came off of the house connected to my store and are around 118 years old. When we restored the house next door, we had to take out 2 chimneys that were falling apart, which then led to a restoration of the roof, and all the original tin shingles had to come off. There are actually 3 different types of shingles, and once they were taken off, I was able to date them and figure out the dates of floor plan additions to the house, which was pretty cool. Before painting, I always clean and prep the shingles with Rust-Oleum in batches so that I always have a pile to work from. For this batch, I was painting the old First Presbyterian Church, which is also on that Bryson City Tales map. I think it dates back to 1880, so it's a pretty historic landmark. After I got through the first batch of 10 shingles, I knew Wookie was getting bored, so I put some treats into a toy for her to find. She found them way too quickly though, and that activity only lasted about 2 minutes. I painted a few more shingles and then decided it was time for lunch. So I went out to pick up lunch and took Wookie out for her walk. When we got back to the store, it got pretty busy and it took quite a while for me to finish my lunch while juggling customer checkouts. My husband came down at some point and wanted me to help him make a vintage-inspired Porsche poster of he and our daughter driving the tail of the dragon for his garage. So I helped him with that, ordered the poster, and it turned out really great. Then it was back to actual work, pricing metal pencil sharpeners. These are really great Stadetler sharpeners. I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm pleasantly surprised at how many people still need a good pencil sharpener these days. By early afternoon, my tin shingles were finally dry, so it was time to write on the back of them with an acrylic paint pen. I just write that it's an antique shingle dating back to 1902 from the Hazel House in Bryson City, and then I also sign them. After the backs are dry, I take them outside to spray them with a final varnish. You can see in these shingles that I'm restocking that I punch holes in the top of each shingle and then add a wire for hanging. Whenever I sell one of these, I wrap them up really well and joke with the customer that I'm just trying to make sure they don't get tetanus walking back to their car. My ADHD always sends me in different directions, and at some point I remembered that my initial goal of the day was to paint that large bear. So, refocusing, I pulled the canvas from the easel and drew a grid with some white chalk and then sketched out a bear from my reference photo. I have a large sketchbook with extra weighted paper in it that I use for keeping track of specific painting recipes that I know that I might use again in the future. Here's my go-to bear palette, and it saves me a lot of time when starting a new painting. I usually paint the eyes of an animal portrait first because it kind of sets the personality for the whole painting. Then I start working my way outward with the fur. I like to use the grid system for furry animals because I can work different layers of fur color kind of methodically around the canvas, and the grid acts as a reference. Once I have a pretty good part of the bear filled in, I will block in the background. This was done with a mixture of turquoise, burnt umber, and white. With fur painting, it's basically a process of layering different colors over and over and finally adding in any final highlights. My favorite part when the paint is finally dry is wiping off the chalk grid to reveal the final painting. I will usually let the painting sit for a day and then come back in with a fresh look to fill in any spots that I think need some help. Then I will photograph it, sign it, photograph it again, and then finally varnish it. At the end of the day, I had a few things left to do for our new vacation rental that we are working on. This is a clip of me working on a sign for the house last week, and I also used this sign to create a logo for the rental. I used the logo to create a guest book, signs, and a house manual. I will find any excuse to use my laminating machine. Also, I'm excited to say that the Pine Cottage is available to rent now. I'll put links in the description. And then that was mostly it for the day. On the way home, I ran into the train again, and it's always fun to be the first car stopped for the best view. The silver Appalachian car is the one that I painted a mural in that I made a video about a few months ago. I'll put a bunch of these links in the description as well if you're interested. Thanks for watching another day in the life video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it.